Dodgers opening day is here. How will that Dodgers opening day lineup look? We're going to reveal that. We're going to talk about what the roster is going to look like at the end. And also, we've got more bold predictions. Who will be traded for the Dodgers this season, if any player is going to be dealt? All that more coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodgers Baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, Warrior Parade. We got it, Parade. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Ohtani starts the 50-50 club. Monkey magic. Freeman hits the ball. Right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to the Dodgers Nation Dodgers Dugout Live. Here, my name is Doug McKain, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. We are Jack Flaherty days away from Dodgers opening day. It is here. Get excited, Dodgers Nation. Yes, we had opening day already. The Dodgers are technically 2-0 on pace to win 162 games, but domestic opening day. Dodger Stadium, 50,000 fans there to welcome their boys in blue for the first time in a regular season game since the last year, and the first time in a meaningful game since the postseason. So it's going to be exciting. You got Blake Snell making his Dodgers debut, going up against Tariq Skubal. But we have got some breaking news here into Dodgers Nation. And that is courtesy of the Dodgers Nation social media team. And that is that Panda Express has re-signed with the Dodgers for the 2025 season. And after every Dodgers home win this year, you can get $6 two-entree Panda Express plates at participating locations only on the Panda app on Friday, March 28th. You must use code DodgersWin in order to redeem on the Panda app. Tax, delivery, and other fees still apply. The limit is one per day, and the other is valid only the following day until 11:59 p.m. after a Dodgers home game win. Must be a Panda Rewards member. Additional restrictions apply. Full details and list of participating locations at Panda Express. .press.dodgerswin. Share your own personal reaction to it. I mean, this is the moment that we've been waiting for, because this has been an off season that has been filled with fireworks. You follow up a off season where you sign Shohei Ohtani, the best player in the sport. You bring in Yamamoto, the best pitcher available to the biggest contract ever given out to a pitcher. You get Glasnow and Teoscar. You follow that up with the offseason we just saw. Well, this is the cherry on top, the finishing touch to the best offseason in baseball. You added Blake Snell. You brought back Teoscar Hernandez. You signed the best reliever in the game in Tanner Scott. You got Kirby Yates. You re-signed Blake Trine. You extended Tommy Edman. You got the top international player in the game, the top prospect in baseball, Roki Sasaki. And now, on top of all of that, you can make the case this is the best move. The Panda Express deal, the value of this deal has got to be up there with Shohei Ohtani deferring 97% of his contract. I mean, this is a great deal for fans. Panda is back. I couldn't be more excited. Let's see some of these fan reactions here, because I know Dodgers Nation is thrilled, is pumped, is excited. We've got Chrisanite13 says, why can't they offer this in Little LA, aka San Diego? Like that one right there. What else we got? We got JVOC08 says, arguably our biggest acquisition before opening day. You can certainly make the case. It's an argument. Absolutely, 100%. What else we got? We got Estenocho Toro Cuatro says, I abused this to the fullest last season. You didn't abuse it. You took full advantage of it. You took advantage of a great deal, like how the Dodgers are taking full advantage of Ohtani's deferred contract by surrounding him with more talent. And that's what they did with this. You got more talent. You got the Panda for the Dodgers. We got Mikey Veneo says, God bless Panda Express. I was wondering if they were going to bring this back. 3 fire emojis. Yes, the wait is over. They did bring it back. What is your panda order, by the way? Drop that down below in the comment section. I've always been, you got to go with the best thing on the menu. That is the orange chicken, the Panda Express orange chicken. It's incredible. Throw in some beef and broccoli. Give me some fried rice. Give me some chow mein. Give me a fortune cookie. And I'm thrilled. We got the hockey fan, Jen. The Panda is going to be exhausted. Wins in food will be flowing like a waterfall. Yeah, it'd be one thing if they did this deal for a team like the Rockies or the Giants. Wouldn't be giving away too much Panda Express. But for the Dodgers, a lot of people are going to be taking advantage and capitalizing off this great deal. We got Churro Wite. Great news. Go Pandod. Okay, we call it the Pandod. Okay, I'm here for that. What else we got? We got Edward Davila says bulk is going to be insane. Yeah, you got to bulk up, man. You got to take advantage. We got teriyaki chicken and super greens. That's your order. We got teriyaki, beef, and broccoli. So, yeah, excited about that. The Panda Express deal is back for the Los Angeles Dodgers this season, and it's big news. Give me a let's go Dodgers for that Panda Express news right there. But, guys, it is, oh, by the way, it is a lot of you guys very excited in the chat, and for good reason. You wait for this day all year, and it truly does feel like Christmas in late March. It does feel like a national holiday. I have no idea why there's kids in school today. I have no idea why post offices are open. It should be a national holiday. You should not be at work today. You really should not. I hope that you guys have found a way to either get off today or have that extra window open on your computer so you can follow along. It is a later game, which is kind of cool. I mean, we've seen some 1 o'clock opening days, but today it's going to be later. After 4 o'clock is when we're going to see that first pitch. Dodgers, Tigers, Tariq Skubal, Blake Snell. You got a Cy Young matchup here on opening day. But let me know down below, what is your best opening day excuse? What is the best excuse you've ever given your boss on opening day? A couple years ago, I was at Dodgers spring training, and I asked Dodgers fans that question, and here were some of the responses I got.
What's the wildest excuse you've given your boss for missing work on opening day?
That had diarrhea.
I'm at an appointment actually right now, so I'll probably use the same excuse.
Oh, wow.
The best one was that my grandfather died.
Bro, really?
That I had to go get vaccinated for COVID, and I didn't feel good after I got the shot, so I had to go, I took some personal days off for that.
What's the wildest excuse you've given your boss for missing work on opening day?
Ooh, I had a root canal. I had an emergency surgery to get another tooth put in.
You had to go the dental route. More believable.
They don't get it. You gotta be urgent so.
I like that.
I've never given a wild excuse. I just told them I'm going.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Yeah, usually pulling the sick card, like I'm not feeling well, doing the voice, I can see myself having to do that if I wasn't able to get a day off where I had to go for opening day.
Some characters in that video. I'll never forget that one. By the way, let me know down below, what is your best excuse to miss work on opening day? Let me know down below in the comment section. Chris St. Jacques says Panda Express should start selling Dodger dogs. Bob Connolly says if only Vince Scully were alive to do a Panda Express ad. Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. We got Jay Valdez. I love me some Chinese tortas. Okay. Awesome. Good stuff. I have never tried a Chinese torta. I'm sure they're delicious, but I'm interested in trying them. But yep, guys, opening day is here. Want to catch up on some roster stuff. Want to catch up on what the opening day lineup will look like. We do some more bold predictions. I do have a poll question of the show, and we talked about this a little on our roundtable yesterday. If you didn't get a chance to see that, myself, the great Noel Sanchez, Noah Camrus, we did a roundtable to preview the season. And one question that we asked was, who will throw the final pitch for the Dodgers in the 2025 season? And I asked you guys that over on the X. And right now, 33% say Tanner Scott, 26% say Shohei Ohtani, 28% say Blake Trinan, 13% say other. So, yeah, I think that that's getting a little too ahead of ourselves, but why not? It's fun. That's what we do on opening day. Now, let's hit the leadoff, though. Let's talk about some of these roster questions that we still have, some of these big questions that are still lingering for the Dodgers entering the 2025 season.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
So we didn't get a chance to talk about this yesterday, but Dodgers non-roster invitee David Bodie, he used his upward mobility clause in the minor league yesterday, and that part of his contract is something that is going to be used so that it'll make him available to the other 29 teams, that if another club is willing to put him on the 40-man roster, the Dodgers would be able to counter by selecting Bodie to their own 40-man roster. If no team wants to pick up Bodie and place him on the 40-man roster, he's going to head to AAA Oklahoma City to start the season with the Dodgers AAA affiliate down in OKC. Now, David Bodie was really, really good during spring training. We talked about him pretty frequently. Not only was he getting hits, he was hitting the cover off the baseball. He was hitting the ball extremely hard, and he did make some swing adjustments, and those swing adjustments were paying dividends right away. He hit 400, had a 471 on base. He slugged 700, hit 2 home runs in 34 plate appearances, and last year with the Cubs in AAA, had a 124 weighted runs created plus in 123 plate appearances. So his career has been trending in the right direction, and this gives him an opportunity to put the word out to other teams that if, hey, you want to go and add a David Bodie, well, now the pressure is on the Dodgers to add him to that 40-man roster. And right now, if he's going to be on this team, I think it is going to be a while, and it's going to require a couple of things. The path for David Bodie to be on the Dodgers opening day roster was always predicated on if guys were going to get injured. That did not happen. Now it's, will guys get injured and will guys slump to the degree that you're going to go and turn to a David Bodie? So now we have some more clarity. I think the Dodgers, they made it very clear that they want him in their system as a depth piece. But what another team could use from him is a bench bat, a right-handed bat that has some positional versatility, a guy that can play multiple infield spots and be a right-handed bat off the bench. And he still has a minor league option remaining, but he is 4 days away from reaching 5 years of service time. So at that point, he'll have consent to take on that option. So there's that factor in as well. It's not like he's a guy that has a ton of options and he's going to earn that status very quickly if he does get called up and plays a certain amount of games. So that's something just to put in the back of your mind about David Bodie. A lot of you have been wanting him to be on this roster. You think he deserves a spot over a Chris Taylor. And I told you the entire spring training that Chris Taylor was going to be on that opening day roster. That, to be frank about, there was not even a discussion about whether or not he was going to make it or not, just because they owe him $13 million. He's almost at 10 years of service time. Chris Taylor can hit 10 years of service time around August. So that's a number and a date to remember. Early August is when he can hit that 10 years of service time. And that's something that it's important to him, to the organization. So that was always a factor as well. Now, got a lot of questions from you guys who are already itching to talk about trades. And the question I was asked was, which Dodger is the most likely Dodger to be traded this season? Because Andrew Friedman, the Dodgers president of baseball operations, he's already made it very clear. He does not want to make a big blockbuster deal at the deadline. He said, quote, "It's the worst time to buy." And that's because the acquisition cost of going out there and getting an impact starter, getting an impact reliever, getting an impact bat is so high because of the expanded postseason. More teams are interested in being buyers than there are sellers, right? What I always say, you want to buy the Halloween candy the day after Halloween, right? When it's cheaper, when you get more value. That is the opposite of the case when it comes to buying talent at the deadline. But it could be a situation where there's such a surplus and guys stay healthy that it may be in their best interest to deal guys, to move off of guys. And if you listen very carefully to the interview that we did with Dodgers president CEO Stan Kasten a few weeks ago, one thing that really stood out to me was when he mentioned the part about the Dodgers having their eyes on the present and their eyes on the future, and knowing that to sustain excellence, to keep this championship window open forever and not even considering a rebuild, is you have to understand the aging process. That's what Stan Kasten said, is that this organization understands the aging process. And what he meant by that was they're able to acquire guys and replenish their farm system in a variety of different ways. We saw with the Michael Busch deal. You went out there, you traded Michael Busch, a guy that did not have a spot on this roster as far as role, because he's a first baseman, and you just didn't have a playing spot for him. So you went out there and you got Zaire Hope and Jackson Ferris, two guys that are trending upward. A guy like Jackson Ferris could make his Dodgers debut later this year. Jackson Ferris was on this show last year, late in the year, and he told us he wants to make the Hall of Fame. That was his goals for himself. Not just to be in the show, not to be an All-Star or Cy Young winner. His goal is to be a Hall of Famer. That shows you the kind of guy they got in Jackson Ferris. You saw a couple nights ago against the Angels. Jackson Ferris is nasty, okay? Zaire Hope is someone that some people even thought some people in the organization I've talked to have said that Zaire Hope may have passed Josue DePaula already, and that's how good that he is. So my point in all of this is to say that you could have someone on this big league roster that you might want to trade, that you're not necessarily looking to get a player that's going to have a role on the 2025 Dodgers, right? It's not big league talent for big league talent. It's big league talent for future minor leaguer, guy that we don't have to have on the 40-man roster, that we can stash away, develop, and all of a sudden it becomes a player like a Zaire Hope or a Jackson Ferris. Or if you want to go even further behind, look when they traded Mitch White. Mitch White was someone that was a guy that didn't have a spot necessarily. He got some bullpen spots, some piggyback roles, came in a game, was a long-term reliever. And who they get in the deal for Mitch White? You went out there and you got a Nick Frasso. And Nick Frasso, before he injured his shoulder, was in the conversation for best pitchers in this Dodgers farm system. So that's another example. And then you go even further. What happened in 2020? Ross Stripling was a player that had made an all-star team for this organization, that had made the all-star team for this group, and then he ultimately gets traded, and then they trade him for a different group of guys where you get Ryan Noda, you get Kendall Williams, right? And those are guys that have continued to grow in this organization as well. So who could be that guy this year? If you had to pick someone, you can see the parallels between Tony Gonsolin and Ross Stripling. They both made an all-star team. They're both guys that you don't view as frontline guys in your rotation, more like number 4 or 5 starters when you look at the entire group as a whole. And Tony Gonsolin still has another year after he gets back into arbitration. So I think that for the Dodgers, Tony Gonsolin, if there's a big league guy that they would most likely be willing to trade this season, it would be the Catman. It would be the Catman. And you look at the extension, the new deal they gave him a couple years ago. This season, he's set to make $5.4 million. They bought out some of those arbitration deals, and they bought out those arbitration years to give him a little more security, to save on their end, and then he's under team control until 2026, and he'll be a free agent in 2027. He'll be 33 years old when he hits that. So if a team were to trade for Tony Gonsolin, you get him for this season, you get him for next season, and then he would hit free agency. So you'd get a little value from that standpoint. So I could see if it's a champagne problem, and I'll believe it when I see it, but let's say that things start to work out for the Dodgers on the injury front, where they benefit from a 6-man rotation. They benefit from their depth and the little things that they're doing in between starts to try to prevent injuries, and everyone stays healthy. And then Shohei Ohtani and Clayton Kershaw and Dustin May stay healthy, along with the top of the rotation with Snell, Gonsolin, Snell, Glasnow, Yamamoto, and Rogi Sasaki. Well, Dustin May profiles better to be a guy that comes out of the bullpen with his stuff. Dustin May's stuff is better than Tony Gonsolin's stuff. Tony Gonsolin's not a guy that you necessarily see as a bullpen type of guy. So if he's only going to be used as a starter and all your starters stay healthy, Gonsolin could be the one that's expendable that you look to deal for some prospects. So Tony Gonsolin would be my number one guy that I would have to pick if they're going to trade someone. I hope he has a great year. I think that he's coming off that Tommy John surgery and he's fully healthy from his arm standpoint. He did tweak his back a little bit during a weight training session, but he's a guy that they could see it. But that's what this organization does, right? That's how they move the chess pieces around on the chessboard. I mean, look at what they did when they traded a guy like Dylan Floro. You're like, all right, Dylan Floro's like one of our best relievers, right? He's the guy that owned Randy Arozarena in the World Series, right? Change the bottom of the zone. And then who they get? Alex Vesia, one of their best relievers. Kyle Hurt, before the injury, before he got hurt, he was really, really good. He was continuing to emerge. And like 2024, you trade Michael Busch, Yancy Almonte, Zaire Hope, Jackson Ferris. Both those dudes, top prospects for the organization. So that's the guy I could see him trading. Dustin May, I think they're going to hold on to just because he's going to be better out of the bullpen. He's a free agent after this season, so it's not like he's going to have a ton of value after that. And then you just look at all this depth that they do have. I mean, we haven't even talked about guys like Justin Robleski and Landon Knack, Nick Frosso, Emmett Sheehan. All those guys are pitchers that can help this team this season. And the difference between those guys, along with Landon Knack, is you can option all of those guys and keep them at the minor league level for as long as you want, and then capitalize on that depth if one of your starters that you're never going to option goes down with an injury. So that's how I think they're going to play it. That's how I think they're going to play it. If you had to go deeper down the list as far as guys they could trade, I think Bobby Miller is the guy, if they're going to go blockbuster, if he rebuilt his stock and looked better, that he could be someone they could dangle. I think that they realize that he's someone that has so much talent that you don't want to just do that necessarily unless it was for an upgrade. I don't think you'll see Bobby Miller in the deal for a stash prospect or anything like that, like you would see for Tony Gonsolin. And then I know people are saying Chris Taylor, right? Chris Taylor is someone that the Dodgers would have to pay down the majority of his contract, and you would get very minimal prospects in return for him. So really, look at the guys on their roster. You're not trading some of these guys that have a lot of talent and years left. You're just not doing that. James Outman's another guy that's interesting to me, and it's almost of the Michael Busch ilk, where the Dodgers completely respected Michael Busch. The Dodgers knew that when Michael Busch was going to get everyday at-bats, that he was going to turn into something. But they also knew that he was blocked on this team because there was so much talent at the position that he played. Maybe James Outman gets dealt because they know he's going to be 28 in May, and that he's someone that's going to be a plus defender. That defense is going to translate. He finished third in the Rookie of the Year voting in 2023, hit 23 home runs. So I love James Outman. I think he's a talented guy, a hard worker, and I want him to see what it would look like if he got 400 to 500 plate appearances and the ability to adjust to big league pitching. So that's the third guy really in that group. But let me know down below in the comment section. Are we going to see a trade this season? I still think that a big question they do have is center field. And I do think that with Luis Robert Jr.'s contract, you got a couple of those $20 million club options, someone that a couple years ago was really playing at an MVP-ish level. Luis Robert Jr. is still really young. If Andy Pages does not hit like they hope he does, and you don't want to throw Tommy Edman back in center field, you want to keep him at second, and Hae-Sung Kim, that bat doesn't evolve to hit big league pitching, I think center field, that's the one spot that they could look to add, because you're not going to move Michael Conforto. You're not going to move Teoscar Hernandez. Andy Pages is someone that he profiles as a corner outfielder. That is where he should be. That is where his arm is at its best. That's where his range is at his best. So Pages needs to hit. He needs to prove that he can handle big league pitching and not just lefties if he wants to stick on this roster long term. We know the Dodgers are the Dodgers. They're always going to have their fair share of platoons. And Kike Hernandez, I think, is certainly going to get opportunities in center, in left, and he's going to be mixed in, especially if he hits the way he did after the All-Star break when he put on the goggles and he started to see the ball better. I certainly believe that. But if there is that blockbuster move, I think it's coming in the outfield, unless there's an injury to a guy in the infield or they think that they need to upgrade a starting pitcher position because guys goes down. But the center field is where I'm looking at, okay? As a guy who loves me some trade deadlines, you guys know, that is where it is going to happen. And if they think they need to do something, that will be the position of need. But coming up next, we are going to continue to throw out some bold predictions. We're going to hear from you guys, the 7th inning stretch, any questions you guys have. And I've got my top 5 moments from Dodgers opening day. That is coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live. What up, Dodgers Nation? D-Mac here to remind you that if you have not yet, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Dugout Live podcast. You can find it wherever you get your podcast. So if you want to listen to the show in audio form, when you're driving to Dodger Stadium, when you're driving from Dodger Stadium, when you're commuting to work, wherever it is, you definitely want to lock into the podcast. We're going to start featuring some podcast exclusives, interviews. So definitely, even if you do watch the show daily on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Dugout Live podcast wherever your podcast. So be sure to do that. It really supports the channel. And as always, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out. What is up, Dodgers Nation? Welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers show and podcast on YouTube. By the way, if you haven't yet, we are still accepting submissions for our Roki Sasaki jersey giveaway. Roki's on the bump on Saturday. I will be there. Had to see Roki's first start at Dodger Stadium. All you need to do, is the easiest thing to be eligible for a giveaway. You comment Roki of the Year down below. That's all you do. Comment Roki of the Year. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you have the notification bell on. Also, subscribe to The Big Lead. If you want to be eligible, subscribe to The Big Lead over on my other YouTube channel, The Big Lead 1. The hottest stories in sports you're going to find over there. Talking about this LeBron James, Stephen A. Smith drama. That thing is continuing to evolve and get juicier by the day. So definitely go check out the Big League 1. And also subscribe to the Discord channel. The Discord channel is really popping. The Discord channel has thousands of members at this point, and you can become a VIP Nation Access member. And when you're a VIP member, you can call into the show. You get exclusive merch. You get behind-the-scenes contact. You get interviews and Q&As and different things. So definitely be sure to subscribe to the Discord channel, and that way you won't miss a thing about your Los Angeles Dodgers, and you'll be getting behind-the-scenes content, BTS content over there. We've got the roster out, by the way. The roster, the 26-man roster has been revealed for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And not many surprises here. Not many surprises, but let's do it. Let's run it down. First base, you got Freddie Freeman. Now, Freddie Freeman did miss both games in Tokyo, and he's feeling better. He tweaked some things with his swing. He had some discomfort, and it was a little bit of a flare-up, and he said that it was most likely because of some scar tissue buildup, but he's going to be fine. He said it wasn't a setback. Freddie Freeman. You got 2 catchers, of course, Will Smith and Austin Barnes. Will Smith, really nice start to his season. You saw the walk rate go up. He went 2 for 4 in the Tokyo series, had a double and 5 walks. So really nice to see Will Smith get his season off to a nice start. Then at second base, you got Tommy Edman. So early on, there was talk that Ha-Seong Kim was going to have an opportunity and a runway to make this team. Unfortunately, made some swing adjustments. They want to give him everyday at-bats. They don't want to throw him into the fire just yet against big league pitching. I talked to Ha-Seong Kim during spring training, and he emphasized to me the importance of, I need to see big league velocity for an extended period of time. So that way, when I do get my opportunity to face big league pitchers, I will be comfortable and I'll have the best chance of having success at this level. So you got Tommy Edman at second base. By the way, no Gavin Lux, of course. This is your first Dodgers show of the season, try to get you caught up a little bit. Gavin Lux is on the Cincinnati Reds. He was traded there. Tommy Edman won the Gold Glove at second base in 2021. I think you're going to see him there. And I also think you are going to see him in center field as well. So you're going to see him mixed up, and then we'll see. If Mookie Betts can't handle shortstop or something goes wrong there, they want to spell him, you could see Tommy Edman at shortstop as well. Then you got Mookie Betts. So Mookie, of course, he missed the Tokyo series, was dealing with the stomach illness. He lost 15 to 20 pounds, and it looked like there was a chance he was going to miss opening day. But thankfully, Mookie Betts really turned the corner, took some medicine, is now keeping food down, and he's going to be ready to roll today. So you got Mookie Betts. Third base, you got Max Muncy. So number one thing for Max Muncy is health is wealth, right? For Muncy, last season when he was out there, Max Muncy was a really, really good player. Max Muncy wasn't some role player or some struggling guy. He didn't have a great year against lefties, but I mean, there's 29 other teams that would line up for the kind of production that Max Muncy brings at his position. He is someone that has been really a stalwart for this Dodgers organization since he arrived in 2018. He has the most home runs for any Dodger since he put on that uniform. And last season, when he was out there, he had a 135 weighted runs created plus. He had 15 home runs in 73 games. So it's all about the health. Last season, he missed almost 3 months with an oblique strain, but he did finish the year with the team in the postseason. And I'm looking for a big bounce back year for Max Muncy from a health standpoint. Then outfielders, you got Michael Conforto, Teoscar Hernandez, and Andy Pages. So Conforto, I've already planted my flag on Michael Conforto having a really nice year with the Dodgers. I think he has the potential to make the all-star team in this lineup. I mean, he had 20 home runs last year with the San Francisco Giants, hitting in the second worst hitter's ballpark in baseball. 17 of his 20 home runs last season came outside of Oracle. So Conforto told me he loves the batter's eye at Dodgers Stadium, that it's a great place to hit. He also told me that he's going to feed off of batting in this lineup that has so many stars, that has so much talent around him. He told me that the expectation is success with the Dodgers, and that rubs off on guys. So I'm looking for a big year for Michael Conforto. Teoscar Hernandez, that's an interesting one. I've seen people say that he's going to regress. I've seen people say he's going to hit 40 to 50 home runs. So it's kind of all over the place for Teo. If he does anything like he did last year, which was a 134 weighted runs created plus, meaning he was 34% above league average, hit 33 home runs and had 99 RBIs, was really good in the clutch, led the team in OPS against left-handed pitching. I just want a Teo year. Give me your every year Teo year, and you're excited about that. Someone that mashes lefties, that's clutch at the plate, that's bringing that passion, that fire, that intensity, and I will be thrilled for Teo. And I think you look at what he can do in the postseason as well. So that is going to be the number one thing for him, is just avoiding big regression. We don't need a big slump after getting your big deal. That's not what we want to see. We want to see a lot of sunflower seeds from Teo this season. Then you look at the bench. 3 guys on the bench: Kike, Miguel Rojas, and Chris Taylor. Kike's a righty. Chris Taylor's a righty. Both those guys bring a super utility, multi-position dimension to their game. And I think with Chris Taylor, you're not going to see tons of at-bats, not tons of opportunities. But you're going to see him in left. You're going to see him plugged in if guys need a day off and if guys get injured. And then Kike, he was outstanding last season in the postseason. He was great after he got his eyes checked out, got the goggles on. So really interested to see that. And then with Rojas, he's going to be backing up Mookie Betts at shortstop. He still plays defense at a top 5 level. And also he had his best year offensively at the plate. So Rojas, his best year was last year offensively. The defense was still really good. But the key is not forcing him to be an everyday guy, because at his age, it's tough to be an everyday shortstop and maintain that bat. Two-way player. I love how they have a two-way player, as if there's like more guys that do that. But Shohei Ohtani, of course, goes without saying. He's on that 26-man roster. He is going to really, really help this team on another level. aside from just his statistical brilliance, where he had 59 stolen bases and 54 home runs, OPS over 1,000 and 181 weighted runs created plus with a unanimous MVP, it's when he is going to have that two-way player status that is going to allow him to pitch and allow the Dodgers to still have 8 relievers. So when he pitches, you still have that starting pitcher spot, and the Dodgers still have a full complement of arms out of the pen. It is the ultimate cheat code from a roster standpoint, because to go to a 6-man rotation, a lot of guys just don't have that. A lot of teams don't have that depth and talent, but also they don't have the requisite bullpen arms to really maintain it throughout the course of a 162-game season. So really excited to see that. Then on the pitcher side, starting pitchers, you got Blake Snell, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, Roki Sasaki, and Dustin May. The big question for the Dodgers heading into spring training was who's going to take that final spot in the rotation to start the year. Early on, it was looking like it was going to be Tony Gonsolin, just because he was in the conversation to pitch for the Dodgers in the postseason last year. He didn't have any setbacks, but then he tweaked his back. Dustin May looked really good in spring training. So Dustin May is the guy who gets that 5th rotation spot. And I think that one of the top storylines to look at early on in the year is how does Dustin May look early on this season? Because if he's going 5 and 6 innings, getting 6 or 7 strikeouts, allowing 3 runs or less, and he looks like a legitimate starting pitcher, then they're going to hold on to him. You can't keep a guy out of the rotation that's having that kind of success. So that is going to be big, because if he struggles, then when Kirsch gets ready, then when Gonsolin gets ready and Shohei Ohtani and all these guys get back, then the path for him is going to be pitching out of the bullpen in a multi-inning type of effort. So it's going to be a big start of the season for Dustin May. The other starters, of course, you know what you're getting with Blake Snell. He's a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. Yoshinobu Yamamoto looks absolutely electric. Yoshi throwing 98, throwing 93-mile-per-hour splitters, throwing that rainbow yo-yo curveball. Number one thing for me with Yoshi is efficiency. When he was in the NPB, he was known for his durability and his efficiency. Those were the two things that were the biggest reasons why he was a multi-time Sawamura winner, which is their Cy Young. He was a multi-time Triple Crown winner for them. But with the Dodgers, as good as he was, the efficiency wasn't great. He pitched around 5 innings per start, and the durability wasn't great. Missed almost 3 months due to a shoulder rotator cuff injury. So I want to see the things that made Yoshi great in the NPB. I want them to translate this year to the show. The potential's always been there. The flashes of brilliance, of greatness have certainly been there. You saw the starts he made in the postseason. You saw the start he had against the Yankees in the Bronx when he was absolutely electric, pumping 98, going scoreless. So let's see that version. Glasnow, we've talked about extensively on the show, the tweak to his delivery and how that's hopefully going to keep him on the mound. Let's not forget, though, he did make a career high in starts last year. He set a career high with 134 innings. He led the team in strikeouts. He was fantastic when he was on the mound. If you look at his advanced stuff, the Stuff Plus, the FIP, look, in the simplest terms, Tyler Glasnow is as good as anyone in this rotation on his best day. It's just about your best ability is your availability. Let's hope that that adjustment to that delivery that doesn't force that extension of the plate and put more stress on his elbow, that allow him to stay on the mound. Roki Sasaki, the splitter, probably the most unique pitch I've seen from a Dodger in a long, long time. As a splitter that has a 500-ish spin rate, that can fade, that can cut, that can go east, that can go west, that drops significantly. This is a pitch that I think has the potential to go down with Pedro Martinez's changeup, with Nolan Ryan's fastball, with Sandy Koufax and Clayton Kershaw's curveball. I mean, some of the great pitches that we've seen in the history of Major League Baseball, I think that is where Roki Sasaki's potential lies. The key is to continuing to develop that slider. I asked Roki about it in Tokyo. Hey, you got one of the best splitters in the sport, if not the best splitter in the sport already. You have a fastball that pumps 100 to 102 miles per hour, but for you to be effective in the show, how important is it to develop that slider? And he told me period point blank, he needs that third pitch. He needs that slider to be a plus pitch for him to truly realize his potential as what Andrew Friedman said could be the best pitcher on the planet. So look for that this season. Is that slider going to be there for him? So those are your starters. Now relievers, you got 8 relievers: Anthony Banda, Ben Kasperius, Jack Dreyer. How about my boy Jack Dreyer, the Maytag? Luis Garcia, Tanner Scott, Blake Trinan, Alex Vesia, and Kirby Yates. Blake Trinan, know what you're getting. Alex Vesia has gone from a guy that took a lot of heat on social media for some inconsistencies to really being one of, if not the Dodgers' top lefties. And I told Alex Vesia this in Tokyo. I was gassing him up, but I did tell Alex Vesia this in Tokyo that, hey, today, this is the all-star year for you, because he has so much confidence. He's brimming with confidence. And the success that he had last year from wire to wire, where last year was the first year for Alex Vesia that he didn't struggle early, had to figure things out, and then was lights out for the rest of the year. No, it was I'm good early, I'm good in the middle, I'm good late. I'm collectively, in his totality, his body of work, he was just a great pitcher last season. I think he could make the all-star team. Kirby Yates, he's been fantastic last couple of seasons. That splitter's nasty. Blake Trinan, know what you're getting. Tanner Scott, I said yesterday, I think Tanner Scott's going to be the first Dodgers reliever to notch 30 saves since Kenley Jansen in 2022. And the reason why I think he's going to hit that 30 mark and not 20 plus, and you're not going to see as many mix-ups, is because I think the Dodgers are going to win so many games this year. And Tanner Scott's just so dominant that why not, man? Like, forget the matchups. Like, I mean, I guess the Dodgers offense could make it to the point where they're winning games by so many runs that he's not going to be in save situations. But I do think that the potential is there to have a 30 save season for Kirby Yates and for Tanner Scott. And I think Kirby Yates will be second in saves for the Dodgers this year. Luis Garcia, he's someone that is being a little bit of a seat filler right now, while Evan Phillips and Michael Kopech are still getting back from injuries. Jack Dreyer, I think, is the same thing too, but I also think that they have a lot invested in him getting experience early to see if he'll get a chance to help this team later. When you look at what makes Alex Vesia one of the best relievers in the sport, it's the IVB. If you're not familiar with this metric, this statistic, my ball knowers out there, which I know you all are, get familiar. It's induced vertical break. And this is your ability to just have that movement. Alex Vesia has the highest IVB in the sport. Jack Dreyer is someone that could challenge him for that. I talked to Alex Vesia and Jack Dreyer about this in Tokyo, and they said, yeah, it almost feels like having a superpower. The ability to throw those pitches and have them do what they do and move like that. Jack Dreyer is someone, another lefty, the movement profile, the way you can spot the fastball, not someone that lives in the upper 90s, but the way it moves, it plays at this level. By the way, Jack Dreyer can do a lot, right? He can do a Rubik's Cube in like 2 seconds. He's someone that's an artist. I also asked him if he has any other hidden talents, and he told me his other hidden talent is he could sing. He told me that the Dodgers had him sing a song kind of for their little rookie, I don't want to call it hazing, but they make them sing a song to the clubhouse, and he sang Billy Joel's Piano Man. And apparently he did a really great job. So Jack Dreyer can also sing. Then Ben Kasperius. I have Ben Kasperius as my Dodgers breakout player of the year. And the reason for this is the velocity, 98. He's pumping it now that he knows that. I asked Ben Kasperius, I said, hey, Ben, is the velocity up because you know that for you to have a role on this team, it's you have to come out of the bullpen and you have to be realistic about the kind of role that you can have for this team, that even though, yeah, you might want to be a starter and you could be built up as a starter for another franchise, is that the goal for the Dodgers? And he said, yes, absolutely. He said that he got a taste of action for this team last year. He started a World Series game, and he does not want to lose that feeling. And for him to regain that and maintain that he has to come out of the bullpen. And because of that, you're seeing a super juiced up version of a Ben Kasperius. So that is a major takeaway, because last year the slider was a plus pitch. curveball was a plus pitch. The fastball wasn't. Now the curveball is a plus pitch still. The slider is a plus pitch still, but the fastball is now a plus pitch for him as far as stuff plus. So watch out for Ben Kaspiris. I think he turns into an electric reliever for the 2025 Dodgers. I'm stamping him. I'm planting my flag. Benny C is doing big things for the Dodgers this year. Anthony Banda, great friend of the show. Love me some Anthony Banda. We talked a lot about Pokemon in Tokyo. He actually told me that when he gets stressed and he needs to kind of calm down a little bit, and the stress of everything that comes with being a big league pitcher, that he still has his binder of Pokemon cards, and it's about this thick, and they're in the little slots, and he'll just flip through his Pokemon cards and just chill out and watch them, and he'll close it, and it'll reset him. I thought that was really cool. So Anthony Bonda told me. So this team, this roster, look, like I said, you could take down the Mona Lisa in the Louvre and put the Dodgers roster because it's a work of art. It truly is one of the best rosters on paper that we've ever seen in the history of Major League Baseball. You legitimately have five guys that could be aces for other staffs around Major League Baseball. You have 3 MVPs at the top of your lineup in the MV3. And then you have a clutch hitter, an all-star, a silver slugger in Teoscar Hernandez, a guy that can hit 30-plus home runs every single year in Max Muncy. Will Smith's an all-star catcher. Tommy Edman is an NLCS MVP that his power numbers have continued to go up. That's the big thing with Tommy Edman. Can he be a 20-home run guy? His career high is 13. I asked Edman about his home runs and the power uptick in Tokyo, and he said that he has a more direct swing and a flatter bat path, and that's what's leading to the home run. So an adjustment has led to those power numbers going up. But that is the Dodgers opening day roster. Now, let's read some comments. Welcome in Dodgers Dugout Live, opening day. Blake Snell, Snellzilla, first Tariq Skubal. Give me your predictions for tonight's game, and I also want your wins predictions. How many games will the Dodgers win in the 2025 season? That's coming up next here on the 7th inning stretch. I want all of your wins predictions here. And then I got my high five, my top 5 moments in the history of Dodgers opening day.
The 7th inning stretch.
We got Francisco Diaz, 1999. I respect CT3 for all he's done in the past, but I am of the mindset of him not being good enough to be on this current roster. My bold take is the front office will respect him and allow him to get 10 years, then move off of him. That's interesting. I think that's is a little cold-blooded, but let's not forget, Chris Taylor hit .317 for the last 6 weeks of the season in 2024. Hasn't had a great spring, but let's see what he does with his at-bats early on. JY, a super chat, $5. I wish health on all players. Roki debuted under unbelievable pressure, and Tokyo probably will be the hardest game for him in the regular season. Yeah, I thought he showed grit. I thought he showed competitive greatness. Dave Roberts told me that his biggest takeaway from Roki's outing was the fact that he walked so many hitters there, 5 hitters in total, and he walked in a run and still was able to get his way out of it. Gave up just 1 run. He struck out Michael Busch on the 4-seam fastball. Then he got Shaw with a nasty slider. So you see that competitive fire, and I think you learn a lot about a guy from that first start. Now, here's your wins total. I'll throw mine out first. I don't know if you saw the preview show yesterday. My bold prediction for the Dodgers in 2025 is that they will not set the all-time regular season wins record at 117. The current is the 116 from the 1906 Cubs and the 2001 Mariners. Both those teams did not win the World Series, so they're not going down as the greatest team of all time. But I think the Dodgers can go down as the greatest team in the history of Major League Baseball by winning 115 games in the regular season, which is 1 more than the 114 wins of the 1998 Yankees, and then win 11 postseason games, which would put them at 126 wins total, regular season and postseason combined. And you add a World Series to that, then the Dodgers would have the most wins ever for an entire season, plus a championship, plus all players that are going to go down as Hall of Famers, superstars, guys like Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, a rotation that is filled with superstars, the murderers rotation, the embarrassment of pitches, elite relievers, and Major League Baseball does not have their 96 Bulls that won 72 games. There's 72 Dolphins that went undefeated. The Dodgers could be that for Major League Baseball this season, and I think they go out and barring health, barring injury, this team could win 115 games. We got Eric Arcos, 106 wins. Kavladelic, 120 wins. Okay, we got Miguel Rojas there. Tayo Serrano, 105. FEQV says 104 wins. Claudia, 11. Dodgers win 111. Yeah, I mean, look, if that Dodgers team from a couple years ago that was not close to even being as talented as this group can win 111, yeah, that this year's team could win for more than that. Yes, you had Trey Turner. Yes, you had talent for sure, but this team's on another level. Steve Gonzalez has 110. The Gator shows 108. Kevin Kohara, 117. Mr. Classic. Bonda also thinks Max Muncy is Bulbasaur. Gonna go. Bruh. Do we gotta change the bruh, by the way? I mean, hopefully Blake Snell gives us a bruh face tonight. Maybe he does. Living Doorway, happy opening day, Dodgers Nation. Let's go, Dodgers. This is going to be an epic season. Jeff Amito, Dodgers have had some top young pitching talent, but they've all gotten hurt, so they had to go out and sign big name pitchers. So that leaves these young guys dangling for trades. Yeah, look, I mean, there's something to that for sure, but I don't think that they're rushing to trade all these young guys because they have options. They're controllable. We got Conforto's going to add a lot of value for sure. Delirium, I doubt any of our starters will reach 120 innings through September. Will be handled with extreme care and bubble wrap, then unleashed in October. By the way, have you guys let me know what is the wildest excuse you've given your boss to miss work for opening day? Let's see if we can rack those up so we can give out a comment of the show. Trevor DMAC, how many starters do you think will have a sub-3 ERA? It's a good question. I think that you're going to see guys with a lot of ERAs that are kind of just slightly above 3, right? I think for the sake of the question, I'm going to say 2. I think I'm going to say 2. I think you got Blake Snell. Blake Snell could certainly, I mean, if you look at the year he ended with last year, he was fantastic. He does give up his runs at times. Yamamoto is certainly someone that has the talent to do it. They all really do. But I'll go ahead and say 2. I'll say Blake Snell and Yamamoto. Blake Snell and Yamamoto. I kind of want to say Roki Sasaki. I mean, I don't want to go full hot take and say Roki Sasaki is already the best pitcher on the Dodgers. I'm close to saying that because I think he's got that kind of talent. But all right, guys, let's go to our high five really quick. And as the top five moments in the history of Dodgers opening day.
The high five. D-Max top 5.
So we got to do some honorable mentions. You know, we love our honorable mentions. And if you remember a couple of years ago in 2019, the Dodgers, they went off. You had a home run you had 2 home runs from Enrique Hernandez. Kike hit 2. Austin Barnes hit a bomb. Corey Seager hit a bomb. Jock Peterson, Max Muncy, Cody Bellinger, Kike. I mean, it was an incredible day for that Dodgers team, hitting all those home runs on opening day. That was one that Antonio, you remember that day?
My bad. You talking about the Diamondbacks one?
The D-backs.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was like 11-1 or 15-1, I forget, but it was such a great day. F you, D-backs.
Hey, wow, yeah, 8 homers from the Dodgers. That was that tied the record there. But let's hit our best opening day moments for the Dodgers. And the opening day is always just a special day, and it's a day that can never be forgotten, really, just because you always remember who's the opening day starter. How is that opening day lineup going to look? And I think for me, with the Dodgers in this team, you always have to consider that really opening day is about establishing the season, but also it's about how you go about setting your roster and setting the tone for the year. So best Dodgers opening day moments of all time. I'm starting at number 5. Number 5 has to be, let's go with the Dodgers' first game in franchise history. First game in franchise history in Los Angeles. And this is a moment that we'll never forget. You're playing in the Coliseum. Look at that. Can you imagine that? Just playing in the LA Coliseum. Do you remember that, Antonio, a couple years ago when they actually played in the Coliseum? And it was
Actually, it was that game against the Boston Red Sox.
You were at that game.
That was a great game, dude. I love the Dodgers.
Do you remember who was starting that day?
I think it was, what's his name? It wasn't, what year was that again? Was it Brad Penny or no? It was I remember Rafael for call the most that game.
I love me some Rafael for call. Love me some Rafael for call. They actually ended up trading him. But that is a moment where, hey, you're never going to forget. It was the first game ever for the Dodgers in Los Angeles and what it became for this franchise. I mean, you move from Brooklyn to LA. It was April 18, 1958, the LA Memorial Coliseum. You had 78,672 fans there. That was a record for most fans ever in a single game in the history. And the Dodgers beat the Giants 6-5. But the biggest dub was the fact that, hey, Dodger baseball is in LA. So that's coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is the first and only home run ever for Clayton Edward Kershaw. It was April 1st, 2013, and Clayton Kershaw hits a home run off of Giants pitcher George Contos, first ever, only ever in his home run, and it was a meaningful home run. It broke a scoreless tie in the bottom of the 8th. Oh, and how did Kersh pitch that day? He went on to pitch a shutout. It was an absolute brilliant performance. He needed just 94 pitches to pitch that shutout. So that was his Shohei Ohtani day, right? Where he went out there, hit a home run, and he pitched at an elite level. So that was Shohei Kershaw that day, Clayton Ohtani. So yeah, Kersh-Tani that day. So that's coming at number 4. We'll never forget that moment. I got to give Antonio some love there. I mean, that was an incredible day, right?
Oh man, I was with my friends Derek and Chris watching. I was at my girlfriend's house at the time. We were just chilling. I was like, guys, please just watch baseball. They weren't really into baseball at the time, but all they had to do is just watch that Clayton Kershaw gem. And you know what? That's just classic Kersh right there, man. Hopefully,
classic Kersh.
Hopefully does well this season. You know what I want to see, Doug? I want to see Justin Verlander, Clayton Kershaw, Giants, Dodgers at least once this season, baby.
That'd be cool. There's this, I was going to actually save that topic. I saw people saying who had the best run, Scherzer, Verlander, and Kersh. And I got some very deep thoughts on that. We'll hit that another day. But yeah, Kersh was the first pitcher to pitch a shutout and hit a home run on opening day since Bob Lemon in 1953. Then coming in at number 3 on the list of top 5 Dodgers moments on opening day was the start of Fernando Mania. April 9th, 1981. Fernando was supposed to be the Dodgers' 3rd starter that season, but because of an injury to Jerry Royce, he got the ball on opening day. And he pitched a 5-hit shutout against the Houston Astros, and Fernando Mania was sparked. The legendary run that we hadn't seen before, that we haven't seen since, that we'll probably never see again. He went 8-0, had 7 complete games in his first 8 starts. He allowed just 4 earned runs in his first 72 innings. And he would go on to win the Cy Young and the Rookie of the Year, the first player ever in Major League Baseball history to do that. And the reason why I don't think we're ever going to see it again is because you're never going to see a manager, an organization allow a rookie to continue to throw complete games like that. By the way, if you've not seen Antonio's incredible video on Fernando Mania, definitely go back and watch that. Fernando Mania, just an absolute incredible time to be a Dodgers fan. If there's kind of one of those things, if you go in a time machine and go back and watch sporting events, Fernando Mania for me is definitely one that I want to be a part of, just seeing that electricity and how big that was. Then coming in at number 2, we talked about the debut at the Coliseum. The Dodgers relocating from Brooklyn to LA Well, number 2 was the opening of Dodger Stadium. The opening of Dodger Stadium, April 10th, 1962. After playing 4 seasons at the Coliseum, the Dodgers, they opened up Dodger Stadium. A lot of people don't know this, but the Angels also played there as well. The Dodgers, they hosted the Cincinnati Reds. You had 52,564 fans in attendance. It was kind of a bummer because the Reds actually beat the Dodgers that day in the inaugural game at Dodger Stadium, a 6-3 win for the Reds. But that would be the beginning of really just having a new home for Dodgers fans, and that is Dodger Stadium. I've seen so many Dodgers fans today say, oh, I'm home. I'm going to home today at Chavez Ravine. And you had Johnny Padres on the mound, Kay O'Malley threw out the first pitch to Johnny Roseboro. By the way, the most expensive ticket to that game was $5. Most expensive ticket to that game was $5. I mean, it's pretty insane. Today, the most expensive ticket, you're looking at $2,247. So things have changed. So that's coming at number 2, the first game at Dodger Stadium. And then coming in at number 1, this was the most obvious choice. This took zero thought. This is not just one of the best moments in Dodgers Stadium, in Dodgers history, and Dodgers opening day history, not just one of the best moments in Dodgers opening day history. This is one of the best moments, not just in baseball history, it's one of the best moments in sports history. And that is Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier on April 15th, 1947. It's the greatest moment in Dodgers history, one of the greatest moments in sports history. Jackie Robinson, everything that he endured. And it was on April 15, 1947, in front of 26,623 fans at Ebbets Field. He didn't get a hit, but Jackie Robinson doesn't get talked about enough how great of a player he was. I mean, hit 311, 137 home runs, went to the Hall of Fame in 1962. But that is the day for me, the best moment in Dodgers opening day history, Jackie Robinson breaking that color barrier. So let me know down below, how do you feel about my top 5 moments in Dodgers opening day history? Let's read some more comments here. Necro99, we need Luis Robert Jr. from the White Sox in center field. Awesome. So we'll plant that scene, and we'll probably ride that all throughout the trade deadline. Eloy Alvarez, how many Dodgers are going to be all-stars this year? That's a really, really good question, because you really could have, I mean, think about this. How many, let's just say, let's look at the roster, and let's start with the pitchers. Who could be an all-star from the pitching side? Well, look who's already made the all-star team. Tyler Glasnow, that's 1. Tanner Scott, best reliever in the National League potentially, that's 2. Snell, 3. Yamamoto can pitch at all-star level, that's 4. Roki Sasaki, if he's pitching at the level we think he is, that's 5. Right? Shohei Ohtani, that's a lock, that's 6. Austin Barnes has been an all-star, never, but he backs up an all-star catcher. Will Smith, all-star, that's 7. Mookie, lock, 8. Freddie, lock, 9. Max Muncy's made an all-star team, 10. Right? Not a lock. Could have an all-star year. Conforto, I think, is going to make an all-star team just because I think that he's determined to get another bag, have a good season. And that's another guy. Teoscar, all-star team. Tommy Edman can make an all-star team. So you could have double-digit all-stars. I think they end up with, let's go with 7, because you're going to have some injuries. I think they end up with 7 all-stars. You got the locks, and then you're going to see some guys mixed in there as well. But, guys, enjoy opening day. I'm headed to Dodger Stadium. Oh, I got to go now, basically. But we're going to Dodger Stadium because gates are opened up. It's going to be an exciting day at Chavez Ravine. There's nothing like opening day. I hope to see a lot of you guys there. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, join the Discord. Shout out to Panda Express. Shout out to Antonio Noel. But that's going to do it for this episode. Remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.